3 to 4 is where you install Splunk and import the data. Module 5, 6, and everything are where you're using these class materials here. And there's 2 parts, which could be confusing. First, you have to go here, and remember it's student and capital CCSF secret. I'll put the credentials up here in case you don't remember them. It's student and CCSF secret. That's the credentials to get into this page. And then you get the official labs from Splunk. So let's take a look at Mod 5. And the way this works, all right, now it's making me log in. All right, so here they explain to you these instructions. You have to have these 3 things imported. And then you have up the top, it describes you what you should do. Search for certain things. And you can try to figure it out yourself based on what you learned from the lecture. But you can also cheat, which I recommend. Go to the second half, and they'll give you the queries. This one's so easy you don't need them. The more advanced ones, they'll have a second one with red queries written out for you, so you can go there and see the answer. This one's pretty easy. However, before I do this one, I have to finish setting up my server, and that I should talk about. I've got a Mac M1. It does not have an Intel processor. So last time I tried to install it on Windows, and I couldn't get anything to work. It was so slow, it was essentially unusable, because Windows can run Intel code on an ARM processor, but it's slow. So this time, I tried to put it on Linux, but there is no Splunk version for the ARM processor, not even on Linux, which is very rude. There's an agent, so you can harvest the logs from such a machine, but you can't run the server on an ARM processor. And that, I'm sure, will change soon, because more and more servers are using ARM processors, and they'll be necessary. But so the only way to do it, and we point out in the projects here, on this kind of machine, there's only 2 ways to get there if you have a Mac M1. And those are, use a cloud server, like Azure or Google Cloud, which is running on an Intel processor, and connect to it remotely, and that'll be fine. But if you want to do it locally, then you have to use this product, UTM. UTM can emulate the processor, and that's what I did. You download this free product called UTM, and you can now emulate an Intel processor on an ARM processor. And then you can install Linux on that, and then install Splunk on that. And I did it, but unfortunately, the end result is it's really slow. It's so slow that I'm not sure it's even better than Windows. So I only got one of the datas imported, and still thinks it's processing something. Let me try refreshing and see if it's going to catch up. So I may not be able to demonstrate the stuff on this machine because even the headless Linux server, which should be as fast as anything can be, is still too slow. But we'll see. If I can import the other 2 files, I can demonstrate it on this. If not, I'll have to use a cloud server. So, okay, every time I'm about ready to give up, it moves. Okay, so I've imported the first bit of data. So what I'm really going to do, I'm still on modules 3 and 4 because I only got through the first import here before I ran out of time. So now I'm going to, that was the first one was access 30-day log. That one I put in. So now I got to put in Linux 30-day log. Okay, and choose Linux Secure. So let me see if I can do that. I want to upload. Okay, like I say, it's not exactly useless. It's just frustratingly slow. Okay, source, select file, and it's going to be Linux 30-day. Okay. And there, that's moving pretty fast, but then it seems to pause for a long time for no particular reason. Generating data preview. And I can't click next yet, so I have to wait for this to finish. Let's see how painful this is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, that's getting very annoying. Let me see if I have a cloud server to use. But no, it's not ready yet. Okay, so let me try connecting to a cloud server while that is not working for me. So this is going to be console. I think I might be able to do it here. Console. Yep. .cloud.google.com, I think. Yep. All right, I have some servers. Let's see. Wait, this is mail.ccsf.edu. Holy cow, I don't think I have any servers on that account. How do you use another account? Oh, email. Here we go. Okay, good. So let's try. I think I have some servers on this account. All right, good. Now I got two-step verification the way I ought to. So there we are. Good.
Thanks for driving.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. All right, and then continue. And I see. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm kind of skeptical of these pass keys. All right, recovery information. I don't care about that. I want to see if I can get to a Google Cloud machine. Okay, so Cloud VMs, view all projects. See, I wonder if I have it. I'm working in Sam's Tech's product. Here we go. There we are. It's Compute Engine, VM instances. I may have a Linux machine. I do have a Linux machine already. A Debian 12 machine is available. That's what I thought. I just need to start it. All right. So that might be the way to do it. In fact, it might already have Splunk installed and everything on there from previous semester. That would be nice. Let's go back and see if this thing ever moved. It did move. So I can do next. And is it spinning or what? There it is. Good. Now, I had to choose the data type here in the instructions, which was Linux Secure from the operating system menu. So it's operating systems and Linux Secure. Okay, that's what parses the data correctly, supposedly. And next, web server as the host value. Next, web server, review, and submit. All right, it uploads fast, but then the processing seems to take a whole minute for each one. So let's see. So this is one option. I'm an emulated Intel processor. Here's my real Intel processor. And let's try looking at it with SSH. Okay, this is good.
I think I was looking at my own machine. Why does the processing chip matter specifically again?
Because they didn't write a version of Splunk to run natively on ARM. They only compiled it for Intel. Now, probably, I don't think Splunk is open source. I don't think I could download it and compile it myself either. And even if it is, it's big. So it would take a long time. Like I say, ARM processors are getting more popular, though. So they're going to have to make an ARM version. Like Microsoft now makes an ARM version of Windows 11, but they don't yet have an ARM version of Windows Server. So the whole world is gradually getting on board with ARM, but it's taking time. And so they have the Splunk client. The Splunk forwarder runs on ARM, but the Splunk server does not run on ARM yet. Probably, I would bet within a year they will have an ARM version. And I know Microsoft has an early beta of Server 2025 for ARM, but it's really limited, doesn't work very well yet. But by the end of the year, there will be an ARM version of Windows Server 2.
Do you know, I don't know if NVIDIA is in the server game as much as they are in the gaming game.
Well, for AI they are, but I don't think for normal servers. Yeah.
They're building their own chips, their own processing chips, and are they a different version than ARM or Intel?
It's a good question. I don't know. I bet they're ARM, but if they aren't, they're probably the open source one, which let me get the name. It's actually, this is a very interesting issue. There are three types of servers, three types of processors now, and I've got them here. All right. So the main one is Intel and AMD, but the new one coming up is ARM, and the other one you can get is I've got the other one down here. I used to have the other one. I don't know where I can find it. There's a RISC something. RISC 5 or something like that is the new one, which is open source imitation of ARM, and it's almost exactly identical to ARM. And I did have a RISC 5 exploit in one of these classes, but anyway, that's like ARM, but you don't have to pay royalties. And so China is going heavily into RISC 5 because the U.S. has embargoed them from all modern advanced technology, and RISC 5 is open, so they're making RISC 5 stuff. So pretty soon there will be Chinese hardware available to run RISC 5. And then probably Americans won't be encouraged to use it because we're so hostile towards China, but a lot of the world will start using it. So the big battle in the future is whether ARM or RISC 5 is going to win. Now ARM was financially doing badly, but they got bought out by somebody, and they were going to raise their prices. So about 9 months ago, there was a big fear that they would raise their prices so high that people would go to RISC, but they don't seem to have done that. Their prices for licensing seem to still be reasonable, so a lot of people, like Apple, are building on ARM, and therefore paying royalties to ARM for using the ARM proprietary chip. And that seems like that's going to be a winner in America. But in Asia, it's probably going to be RISC 5. Yeah.
Sorry, this is a fundamental business question. You're saying Apple is licensing the rights to build a chip?
I think so, yes. I think anybody who uses ARM has to pay. It's a proprietary thing. You use ARM, you must pay a license fee to use it. Just like Windows.
So
Every cloud, yeah.
We as consumers
are paying for that.
Own a computer that incorporates that licensing fee into our purchase costs.
Sure.
And maybe even theoretically to any subscription service costs that you operate on an Apple system.
Sure, many
cloud.
of them. For example, if you get a cloud machine running Windows, they have to pay Microsoft a license. And I think Android, I think Microsoft makes more money from Android than Windows, something like that, because they own a good bit of Android. And so, you pay a lot of licenses. This is why Linus Torvald and Richard Stallman used to all have this whole religious thing about free software, because you're in fact paying like a tax for everything you use. And they said if everything was just open source like Linux, you wouldn't do any of that garbage, and the world would be better. They have a really strong belief in that. But capitalism is run by them having money, So the fact that everybody's paying means they have enough money to hire developers and everything and make new stuff. So, most of us are content with the capitalist system. It means you get jobs and all this. The alternative of making everything free is basically communism or socialism, and that's not that popular here, Because if everything's free, nobody's getting paid, so how do they pay the rent?
Have a blending of the two. It's okay.
Well, that's what we all have now. Microsoft used to pretend 10 years ago they could wipe out Linux and it would be gone. Now they've admitted everybody's using Linux. You can get Microsoft Linux. So everybody's using both of them in different situations. But most humans specialize in one or the other. You become a Microsoft expert or a Linux expert. Almost nobody does both of them because we're both really overwhelming and confusing. Anyway, I think my cloud server should be up by now. I should be able to use it. Page crashed. Well, that's unfriendly. Let's see if this page didn't crash. Great. So let's do sudo netstat. Maybe SS is better. SS minus pant. This will show me the listening network sockets on this machine. And what I'm wondering is if it's already running Splunk. And I think it is not, because Splunk would be listening on port 8000. So this is good. So I'll install it on here, and that'll be a good demonstration. So let's go to this module and talk. Here's how you install it on a headless Linux server. Here. So you have to get the Splunk executable. Let's see if it's already here. It is not. Okay, good. So you download it. This is what got me. Notice at the end of this, AMD. This is compiled code for the AMD processor, which is Intel. And copy and paste is not working. That's rude. Let's try it again. Right-click, copy. Right, and right-click, paste. All right, that works. It's my keyboard shortcut that didn't work for some reason. Now, this is what's great. It's in the cloud, so it has fast network. much faster than here. It's going to the cloud. So now I'm in. Now I just have to sudo apt install from the deb file. This is how you, in the command line on Debian machines, this is how you install software. You download the deb file, which is like an installer file, and then you install from the deb file locally.
And if you were going to do this professionally, this is how you're running Splunk, period, because you're not actually using a real machine plugged into a potentially infected network. You're doing this all virtually, so that you're not putting anything that you're currently operating on that's yours.
Well,
at
yeah,
risk.
that's right, and that's true. And also, this is just usually how you want it. You want to show the whole world.
Right,
In
you're
fact,
also lowering resources and all
Yeah.
of that other good practice.
In fact, what you might do is you might just pay Splunk for Splunk Cloud, and then they run the servers too.
And then you just have that login interface in the browser like we did before, and you don't do any of this.
Yeah. They've just done all this for you. So this is going to enable the boot start, and notice nice and fast on this cloud server. Whoa! Except I didn't get the copy and paste to work right. Copy, paste. There we go. Well, that's still wrong. Okay, what's going on here? Right-click, copy. Right-click, paste. There we go. And it didn't find it. Oh, there's an error. Subprocess was killed by signal. Broken pipe. Uh-oh, cannot copy extracted data. Preparing to unpack. Error processing archive. Cannot copy extracted data. No space left on device. My machine is full. Okay, this is my machine. All right, let me just make a new cloud machine. All right, there's always something. I'll make create instance. Whatever I have on this machine for another class has filled it up. So I don't care about your help. Okay, this is going to be deb Splunk. What's that?
I'm just enjoying watching you do this because I haven't used cloud.
Yeah, Google. It's very useful.
Yeah,
and you get some free service. If you put in a credit card, they'll give you $200 or $300 of free service, and we'll get $50 vouchers at some point. So now you choose which size to make it, and this is low-cost day-to-day computing. That's what I want. And 2 CPUs, 4 gigs of memory. That's reasonable. And so, if you sign up and give them a credit card, they'll give you $200 or $300 of free service. And if you use it up, you can just make a new Gmail account and reuse the same credit card and get another $200 or $300. I've done it a bunch of times.
It's like if you sign up for Max with different accounts, you can sign up for 7 days for free or a month for free.
Yeah, but you do have to remember to cancel it. Eventually, I'm not actually paying for it because I just got fed up with it. But there are vouchers, and I should have them in a week or two.
Have you heard about the mattress hack that they caught for this?
Mattress?
So, companies like Purple and whatever the other mail you mattress companies were that first started off. They had this deal where you could get the mattress and test it for 100 days for free. And so what people were doing is they were cycling through 3 mattress companies a year to have a free bed all year, which is an insane amount of legwork.
Yeah.
But it's like one of these skip lag hacks, the internet.
Yeah. Criminals did this too.
Cloud.
Yep. So I think it's ready. I expected to specify the operating system. This is what's troubling me. Create, advanced configurations. Here we go. No, that's still just hardware. Okay, how about create? It's going to have to tell me about the hardware at some point. What? Okay, it should have somewhere, like you can choose Windows and stuff. At least different versions of Linux. And somehow I didn't see that page. They must have reorganized this interface so it's on another tab or something. But I think Debian is the default. So I think I'll be okay.
I would assume Google would sign it as a Linux machine.
Yeah, I think Debian is the default, but I should have had an option to fix that. It must have moved it to another tab that I was supposed to click on. Anyway, now I've got something here, which I hope is Debian. We're going to find out. Oh, okay, this will show me that's not what I wanted. I just wanted the SSH into it. And there we are. Let's try this one. I also should have been able to adjust the size of the hard disk and stuff. I just somehow failed to find those options this time. But I think the default will do. We're going to see.
Man, they really have made it easy.
Okay, so now uname -a. It is Linux. It's Linux. So it's Debian. Okay, good. So I do have Debian Linux. That's a good start. Now, how much room have I got? I've got a 10 gig hard drive with 7.2 gigs available. That's probably enough. Let's see if I can put Splunk on here. So here's the wget, all important command. Copy. Okay. All right. And this was the sudo apt install.
Oh, you missed the S.
Okay, good. Thanks for telling me. I'll just put the S in. Right click, paste. Good. All right.
So
And
you're using sudo on this machine because you're not setting up an administrator, or
yeah, this is
you're
the
not
best.
worried about trying to figure out who it is.
Well, this is the best practice. It's recommended to only use sudo for certain commands that need to be root. You could log in as root and do it all that way. That's the old-fashioned way. This is the modern recommended way, is to use sudo. And these cloud machines, by default, they enable sudo but no password, so it's really easy. You can configure that in the sudoers file. And this is normal that it slows down at 20%. It did it in my other machine too.
I think that's my favorite. What is it? XKCD comic where it's two figures. Make me a sandwich. What? No,
Yeah.
make it yourself.
That's
Sudo
right.
Make me a sandwich. Oh, okay.
Well, that's right. So now we'll see if it will enable boot start. Oh, good. Now it has terms of service, which are just irritating. So you hold down the space bar until you see all this crap you're supposedly agreeing to. God only knows what it says. I know a guy that halfway through this, you promised to pray for his wife and stuff. Anyway, then you hit Q to get out of this, and then Y. Yeah, I agree. Sure. Great. They're having trouble making these things hold up in court for that reason. Do you really believe anybody read this and actually agreed to it? Anyway.
Well,
so,
South Park did a whole thing about that.
yep. So I'm going to admin and password. And password. All right. Good. It looks like I've got it. Okay, now it's ready. Now I need to start it. So that's going to be start. Splunk start. And there it goes. Ooh, starting right up. Yep. And this spot, it always waits a while for it to become available, which doesn't make any sense because it is available and it will only take 10 microseconds to figure that out, but some other finalization step always takes a few seconds here.
TV.
What's
You
that?
said this looks good on TV.
Well, I guess. I don't know. Waiting for it to be okay, now it's ready. So now it's available. So I just need the IP address of my cloud machine. Now here's another issue with cloud machines. The firewall will block it by default. So you have to adjust that. And I might have to hunt a little to figure it out. Basic information, machine configuration, networking. There we are. I was hoping to find out which network it's in. I think I don't need to. I think I'm going to do it this part is always confusing. There is a networking option available somewhere here. It's always hard to find.
There's a VPC networking.
It might be there. Here's what is this garbage? I thought I was going to virtual machines. Okay. And then there's some way to get to networking here. Might be able to get there from here. That's going to copy it. All right, I'm going to try Google. How do I open a port in the firewall? Okay. Compute Engine, VM Instance, Network Interfaces, View Details. Let's try that. Compute Engine, VM Instances, select your machine, and now they think there is something called Network Interfaces, View Details. That would be nice. Network Interfaces. Ooh. And View Details. Ooh.
They actually know they're on that.
Their AI search is actually telling me the truth so far. Well, look, I think I got the firewall down here. I think we're awfully close. Then VPC network and firewall rules. So you were right. VPC network probably would have got us there too. VPC network, firewall rules. Okay. And is there like...
Maybe if you expand that drop down, it says VPC VPC firewall.
Ah, good, good, very good. Yes. Okay, let's get rid of this. Yes, and now I can add a rule. I think there should be a place to add a rule.
Is that it over at the far right, that little grid?
This thing? Column display all. No, I'm not finding it. We're close.
Filter.
Here's default, allow SSH, for example. I just want to add another one. Okay, let's see. Now what? Where you can create it. Key steps. Create firewall rule plus. Access firewall rules. Click create firewall rule. Okay, there should be a create firewall rule button somewhere. Does not. Whoops, something bad happened.
I think you went backwards.
Yeah, the problem with the touchpad,
Yeah.
it keeps doing bizarre things I don't want. Network interface, view details, but I couldn't find the button to create a firewall rule. And by the way, it is confusing, and they keep changing and moving everything.
Yep.
That's why it's enough.
Welcome to Google.
All right, so here I am. I see
You
the
have to click into the, no, those are specific rules.
firewalls. No. Network interface details. Yeah, there's somehow I'm not in the right place to change the rules. This happens to me a lot. I'm stuck somewhere useless. The other thing is there's some way to get the firewalls from this menu. VPC network, firewall. Let's try this. This is the one. Now
it's letting you check the different rules.
This looks better, and there
you
should
go,
be.
right at the top, create firewall rule, right
There, that's what, good. Create firewall, there, that's what we need, good. All right, so now, this is going to be allow 8,000, and name is already in use. Well, I might have already made this rule for these machines. Okay, so this is where you do it. So I've already done it on this machine, this is not necessary. I've already done it for this account, but you do have to do it the first time. The only thing it opens is, by default, is like 80 and 443 and things like that. All right, so I probably don't need to do it. So assuming I don't need to do it, let's go to my instances, which are, somewhere in my cloud machines. Somehow I'm ended up somewhere bad. I'm stuck in security. Is there some way to get to the, here we are, Compute Engine, VM instances. Okay. Now here we are. This is what I need, this IP address. So I copy it, and now I should be able to open it, HTTP, that address, :8000. All right. 34 to 223. Okay. See if I can figure out what's wrong here. All right, I can ping it. Let's see if I can netcat it. Come on. Sometimes when you copy and paste, it gets the stupid 2,000 garbage in it. Then 8,000.
Just love watching this. Even a highly technically proficient individual still runs into issues.
Oh, it's very common. Okay, it did. I think it connected. But something's blocking. Now, I'm afraid the City College network might be blocking it. What's that?
Maybe it's
No.
HTTPS.
No, it's not. It's HTTP. This is, let's try Wireshark. I'm afraid it might be the City College network blocking it. They block a lot of things on this network. And in fact, maybe rather than trying to use Wireshark, I'll just try using a VPN, although that might interrupt the stream. I think it did
People
before.
on Twitch must be miserable right now.
They might be. I mean, this has happened, by the way. You get in trouble. Anyway, stop. Let's see, in fact, if anything's happening to people on Twitch. A good point. Any comments? Nothing new. A lot of things could do with standardization. Yeah, that was a long time ago. All right, so this video is going to be long and meandering. That's just life. This is the way it really is doing these projects. Connecting over 8,000. All right, it might be the City College, so I'm going to try turning on a VPN and see if that helps. This may kill the stream, but I'll come back after it. I'm going to turn on my VPN. Okay, and now when I try this, yes, it's the City College network. Okay, so I'm going to have to use a VPN. Let me see if I can get the Twitch stream to run through my VPN. So I'm going to try stopping streaming and stopping recording. And it may just crash because I don't think it can handle the fact that I changed the network underneath it. Let me try going back to non-VPN and see if that helps this come back to life. This is a problem with network using apps. When you change the network underneath them, they often lose their minds. Give it a few seconds and then I'm going to have to kill it. Yeah, I think I killed it. So let's kill it. The first quit. Yep, OBS Studio.